Go back to Zoom.
We're live.
I think we are setting up.
Okay.
Right. Redirecting.
We will be live.
All right. We should be, yep, meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. So hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. So this is another artist conversation with the Otherworldly Arts Collective. My name is Jackie. You might have seen me last week hiding over here in the corner. Dee is now in the corner. And today we're talking with artist Alicia. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Alicia de la Cruz, and I'm an artist, a real artist. I do beadwork, I do painting, and behind me we have my beautiful nail polish set up here. I make that as well.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yes, oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. I'm from an enrolled member of the Wax Band of Ojibwe, and so thus my beadwork. And I've been doing that since I was 7. And then my nail polish work, actually August 1st will be, I'll have 7 years in business with that.
Nice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Dee does make drinks for everybody. I don't know what this is.
It's an Alicia surprise.
She just handed it to me, so.
It matches me.
And sweet Riesling with strawberries and whipped coconut topping.
That's a lot of things.
It's delicious. A lot of delicious things.
Cool. Well, if we just want to start out with looking at some of your beadwork, and if you want to like sort of explain how you go about that first, since it sounds like you've been doing it for majority of your life.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, so I do actually have right here. I do have some pieces that are actually stuck at places thanks to the coronavirus. So This is all I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
This whole tower there is all stuff I've made in the last month. I do have a painting there. This is actually a piece that I will be working on. It's kind of how I decide how to do stuff is I'll take out some colors. These are really interesting because it's a combination of my nail polish and my beadwork. So I hand make these cabochons. I hand paint them and then I bead around them. And that's kind of what these guys are right here. These are pop sockets.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so those are pop sockets. And then I got a little, this is my first like big beadwork piece that I did. Here's some of my beads that I've organized. Yeah, so I have been doing beadwork since I was 7. And I was taught by a relative, actually. I was taught by my aunt, by my grandma. They both did beadwork. And so it's just something that I've really kind of clung on to because it's a part of my culture and it's really important that, younger generations are taught how to do beadwork. I do think it's interesting, though, because I do have some non-traditional pieces, like my little Pennywise.
Yes, the Pennywise, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Pennywise. I put them in a frame so I can display them. Glow in the dark booze.
That's cute.
Yep. And then I have, it's a hair clip, but it's a face hugger.
It's a hair clip.
Yes.
No shit.
Yeah. So I do believe this is for Gods and Monsters, actually, the last show. Yeah. And then I do other stuff too, like skull. It's a real skull.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely am taking what I learned and doing it in ways that aren't as traditional as I was taught. Yeah. So basically when I was younger, I did it for a while, but then I kind of stopped. And then I started up again when I was in high school, and I've really just kind of been beading ever since then. I do have pieces that are like on a larger scale. So this one I actually just finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with beadwork, there's different types of beads. I know that a lot of people aren't really familiar with beadwork and really kind of don't know what that means, I guess. Yeah. And to put it really plainly, there's many types of beadwork. This particular type is embroidery beadwork. So you're kind of sewing into the back of it. And yeah, so you're like taking like I do a lot at a time. I do maybe like 12 or 14 beads at a time, tacking them down, and then in between I go every 3 beads, tacking that down. So
Okay.
it's not bead by bead, but it is a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah, whereas so these are like hoops. These are beaded hoops. I don't know
Mhm.
why I chose these ones. I don't really like these ones, but this is a different style. This is a brick stitch. And so it's taking beads individually, so one by one,
Okay.
and kind of sewing them onto a thing. So there's different styles, there's different types of beads. There's like these are just like size 11s. That's a pretty standard size. I bead with all size 11s. There's delicas, which are behind my thing. They're very expensive compared to Tohos, and I have to have them all, so I like to collect. And yeah, I have to have one of each type of every color of the rainbow. So yeah, beadwork, it's a lot of work.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's something I enjoy because it's so, you gotta focus a lot on it. Whereas with painting, because I do painting as well, you can kind of just like, I'm done for the day. With beadwork, you're like, but I need to finish this other flower, and if I don't finish this other flower, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I do. I enjoy doing beadwork for sure.
Right. And if you want to speak a little bit, like maybe towards the traditional aspect of it, like how it's important, those sorts of types of comments and stuff.
Yeah, so traditional beadwork, I'm Ojibwe, and so our beadwork is a type of floral pattern. Bandolier bags are what we're known for. So like bags that are black velvet kind of with like a floral pattern. That's how you would be able to tell that that's Ojibwe. Whereas this that I'm wearing, actually, it's like using a technique called huichol. This is from Mexico. And so this is like a stacked kind of like longer style. They do use like flowers as well, but each tribe really does have their own style. Like if you think of like the traditional like print of that's native, like it's not, because that's a more Navajo style, and so not something that I would personally bead, but it does depend on your tribe. So like I said, I'm Ojibwe, so floral patterns, really lately kind of earrings have been like the thing that a lot of traditional beadworkers have been doing. Hoops, like the hoop that I just showed you, those aren't traditional. Those are something that's more for not even the younger generation, but it's something that we've kind of evolved to do. It's something that we find interest in, and it's not something that would have been on one of our ancestors, you know. So yeah, like beaded pop sockets. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it's not traditional. So I definitely would say I'm not a very traditional bead worker, but I do have like this piece. It's kind of a mix of both, because this is an eagle feather, and this is something that my dad actually got, because when you're native, you're not, if you're not native, you're not legally allowed to possess eagle feather. And you get it through the DNR. You have to go through a process. Only men can get it, and the men gift it to women. And so my dad gifted me this feather so that I could dance with it. And so this is a hair clip. And this is like the first beadwork I did. You can really tell, you know, kind of just like a comparison of like, this is how it was, and like this is how it is now. Yeah. So I definitely would call myself a more modern beadworker.
Yeah. How long does it take to do something like, say, the big face hugger piece? Obviously that's
So it's kind of hard with pieces that are like this, because it's kind of like you have to get the vision of what you want to do. And especially with this piece, this is a larger piece. I mean, not as large. It's a lot of planning. First of all, I draw all my pieces. A lot of beadworkers trace, like you know, images, but I draw all my images myself, so it like comes from my mind. And it's a lot of work when it comes to bigger pieces, because even a smaller piece like the bows that I showed you, or the earrings, like, so the larger pieces will probably take me, I kind of look at it as like, that's my job, is to do beadwork. So I will spend like 6 hours a day beading something. And that's my job. Like I don't work anywhere else besides Alicia's lacquer and Wabu's beading. So I'm either working on one or the other. And I would say a piece like that would take me probably like 3 weeks of working like 6 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And like hoop earrings, like these ones, I wish I would have showed you these ones first. I like these a lot better.
Those are really pretty.
Yeah, so these ones are using delicate beads, so a different type of bead. They're smaller and they're more uniform, and so therefore they're easier to kind of like stick together like this.
Yeah.
So a pair of earrings like this, I'm a quick beater. So these take me like an hour and a half to make, maybe. Thinking up the design and, you know, beading, the whole process, like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love, if you will.
Right. Yeah. And like your choker, how long did that take?
Yeah, so this was made in Mexico. So this I didn't make this one, but my sister, she also does beadwork. She's also in the Conspiracy of Strange Girls, and if she's watching, shout out Blanca. So she also does beadwork, and she actually did start doing this huichol technique. She does not as intricate, but man, it takes her a long time. Longer, I actually would say, than, you know, my medium-sized pieces. Yeah, because this is bead by bead.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like taking the hoop earrings and making it on like 100, because like
because that's a large piece. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate though that my sister does do beadwork, because she's my sister by marriage, but she's my sister. And so she's native Mexican, so she's from Mexico, and she takes a lot of the technique from down there, whereas I have a northern style technique. So it's actually kind of cool when we have our beadwork together, because you can see the different stylistic choices.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever collabed on a piece together?
We haven't, but I'm not gonna lie, we probably spent like $250 collectively on large bolts of Pellin, and Pellin is the stuff that we bead on. So this is like, it's a thick, basically felt. Okay. Yeah. So we have the power of the earth right now, because we have like 100 yards of this. Yes. And we can do whatever we want now. Yes. We just need thread to withstand it all. But yeah, so I'm hoping that we can collab soon, because that'd be fun for sure.
And then, so as a full-time artist, because you mentioned this is what you do, kind of talk about like, how do you go through a day? Like you mentioned, you do put in, 8 hours or 6 hours of work a day. So it's like, what does your kind of average day look like for when you're working?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I have decided to kind of, I guess, like switch my schedule so that I'm sleeping on my husband's schedule, and he's a nurse and he's a night nurse. And so, I sleep when he sleeps, which means that I go to sleep at about, when you guys probably wake up, like 10 in the morning, and then I wake up at about 4. And so after I wake up, I get up, I clean the house, I do all that too. And I have to do my other, duties, but really honestly, from the time that he leaves to the time that he comes home, I'm working on something. I'm either filling orders with my Alicia's lacquer business, or I'm beading, or, doing both. So pretty much his work schedule is my work schedule. So I'm working like his whole shift. So,
How did you get into, let's talk about the nail polish sort of thing, because I find that's such like a big makeup business sort of thing. So it's like, how does a single person just make a bottle of nail polish?
Let's head on over. All right. So here is the nail polish side. So I'm lucky enough to have a whole office space. This is an entire shelf full of nail polish. These are my glitters. I mean, these are my bottles down there. There's more glitter. It's really not that organized. Don't laugh at me. Here's all the labels for them. There's more nail polish, and this is my desk. So this is where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started making nail polish in about 2012. So when I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
So I started making nail polish then, and I got actually a nail polish making kit on Etsy, and I was like, man, this is so cool. And so I ended up kind of discovering myself the supplies, because back in the day there really weren't per se like groups on Facebook that you could just kind of you know search the files and like you can find everything. So kind of discovered it myself, like how to mix, and it's really just it's glitter. Here's a nice bag of glitter. It's glitter. I get my glitter in bulk. It is pigment, which I don't have any lying around, and fresh bottle. This is nail polish.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's all that mixed up.
Yeah, clear base sort of thing.
Yep, clear base that's especially made for glitter. There's also base that's for like you can make it matte. You can make it just for like micas and pigments. So I make my batches like this. They're stored in HDPE bottles, so they keep for enough time that it takes me to pour them. I'm not necessarily that like I'm doing a lot better than I was in 2013, but I'm not big enough to be making in gallons like some brands.
Yeah.
But I'm making 16 to 32 ounce batches. So, and then I got like little guys over here. And so I'll mix them in the bottle, and I take where are they? I take actually little skewers, and I hand mix in the bottle the pigments to a certain ratio. This is my recipe book. Ooh, don't look at my recipes. Ooh, secrets. Yep. So that's my recipe book. And so I kind of figured out, the perfect formula, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I have really just cool things. Like I have actually it's a RuPaul's Drag Race inspired neon collection. This is called Sachet Away. I have a yellow one called How's Your Head? Thanks for asking. So, it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy making nail polish because there's endless possibilities. There really is. Yes. Oh, it's so much fun.
Right.
I make other products too. Like I just saw this. I make scented top coats.
Oh, okay.
So like this one is cotton candy scented.
So does it last? Like, how long does the scented nail polish last?
Yeah, so the scented ones actually last pretty long with hand washing, with being like doing your daily activities. I can get, because I mean lately with the corona, but I can still get like a day or two out of the smell before it starts to kind of dissipate where you can't really tell anymore. But it's a good novelty,
I was about to say, I had no idea that was even
yeah.
Well,
I also have cuticle oil. I don't have any to show on hand, but I hand blend cuticle oil. I have hemp oil lotion. And then I also am about to have a new product. It's nail polish thinner, but it's free, it's cruelty free, it's vegan, just like my nail polish brand is. Like that's kind of important to me to be all of that. And so I have a nail polish thinner that's specifically made for indie nail polish.
Okay.
So it won't mess up the formula, and they are not also adding toxins in like some nail polish thinners. They have that, but yeah, a lot of my stuff all of it is 5-free, cruelty-free, and vegan.
And 5-free is like
free of toluene, DBP, camphor, formaldehyde, and formaldehyde resin.
Perfect. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I hadn't really known it, so that's good.
Definitely. I do a lot of shows with Strange Girls, and I do a lot of shows, so
yeah,
I get asked that one a lot, so I got it.
Right. Yeah.
It's up there.
And then so that's kind of a nice segue to just shows in general. Obviously, in these unprecedented times, all the shows are being canceled or moving to some sort of online format, but maybe we can touch on at least how things were before, like, how did you get into shows, that kind of thing.
So when I started doing shows, I actually only managed to do a few with my Waboose beading, because I'm more comfortable selling that online. And I'm more comfortable selling Alicia's lacquer in person, because every time I didn't know you can make nail polish. I didn't know indie nail polish was a thing. Like I didn't know you could hand mix it. I didn't know, and what's 5-3. So I always get those questions. I've been doing shows for a long time with this brand. I've been doing it for about 6 years now, maybe. And when I first started, I was doing those shows with the MLMs. So yeah, and those, I just will say, if you are an artist, just to look the other way, because your art is not as appreciated at shows that are kind of targeted towards people that, I'm not saying like, if you have an MLM that's bad or anything, it's just your art is not going to be as appreciated or as, I guess, welcomed at a show like that, because people are going there kind of, it's like going to the grocery store and finding like hand mixed milk, like it's kind of weird and kind of off, and you're just kind of seen like as like, what? So so I started off doing that. I did that for a few years actually, and I really wasn't selling a lot. And then all of a sudden I got invited to the Strange Girls. So after that, I realized that this is where I belong. And so, once you find your niche, like where you belong in the market and where your products will be appreciated, like that's how you know. I purely do shows that are for art now, because I guess a lot of people may say like nail polish isn't necessarily art. But it kind of is. It's like the art of mixing. It's the art of making colors. It's the art of, glitter.
And it's, you can't just throw everything in a jar and have it be what it is. You kind of have to have a little bit of an eye for it to be like, that'll look good, here.
So I definitely did find my way with the Strange Girls, and I've just been doing Strange Girl markets, and here and there's like a couple like festivals I went to last year, like the Red Hot Art Festival, and just a couple other ones that are here on the Twin Cities that are just festivals, like I said, for art. And so that's where you belong.
Find where you belong.
Find where you belong. Yep. And when, if you feel like you don't belong at a place, like that's, you're just not making the money, or you're just not feeling like you're as welcome, I would definitely suggest to move on and try to find the place, because I stuck with selling with like MLMs and that for way too long, like 3 years of my time that I feel like I kind of wasted when I could have been making connections, which is really important, which is again why I like Strange Girl events and like art shows with like, Gods and Monsters and the Unicorn Art Show. I always get to meet people new, and it's weird because I can see artists on the street now that I live in Northeast Minneapolis, and I'm like, hey, I know you. You live at Jackson Flats, and like, I know people, and they know me, and I'm very bad at names. And then they're like, hey, Alicia. I'm like, hey, you. And you know what artists do? I know you. There's like few people that I recognize by face. Danielle's one of them. It's very few, but once you find your people, like, your home. And so like I really do feel like in the last few years I definitely found my home with the Strange Girls. So I definitely am really upset that a lot of our markets got canceled. I personally had 5 canceled, one with Springboard that was supposed to be at the the River Center. That was going to be a big one, and it was just a few of us artists that were invited to sell cost-free for like 2 days. The attendance was supposed to be like crazy. So that was a big loss for me. And then Gods and Monsters, Unicorn, those are my big events for this Waboose beading. That's where I find my creativity for that. So it's really sad about those being canceled.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's been rough for us too, let me tell you. Yeah. And then as far as you mentioned too, that the beadwork does better sort of online. So how have you sort of, like, what platforms do you use to sell? Is it just a website? Do you do Etsy? Like, how is that working for you?
Interestingly enough, my nail polish, I have my own website, I have an Etsy, and I also have an Instagram and a Facebook group for that. That one does very well online. I send out my nail polish for people to swatch them on their nails. They take pictures of it, they get to keep the product, and that's kind of like the business transaction in that. And so that's its own like thing. So that does really well online. Whereas with my beadwork, I do have a lot of people at shows that are not native asking me if it's okay if they wear, my beadwork.
Yeah.
And there is sacred beadwork, and there is beadwork like that skull that I have that I definitely wouldn't want anybody non-native to wear. But all of my stuff is so modern that I definitely do bead with, like, I guess you could say, like, an indigenous mindset. You bead in the right way, and you bead, you're not putting toxins into your body, so you're not like drinking or doing anything while you're beading. You have to be really clear, you have to bead with intention. These were like values that were taught to me when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so so with my beadwork, it's just such a different market, and such a different, I guess, the tribes across both Canada and the United States and Mexico were so spread out. And like, I feel like that's a lot of who likes my beadwork and wants to buy them. And I feel like maybe that's not why it does as well in person, because I think maybe a lot of people may be scared about wearing, native beaded earrings and stuff like that. But so I was really able actually to break out on native Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah. So I kind of broke through on native Twitter.
Yeah.
And that is where I do a lot of my selling. I wouldn't say they went viral, but I was beading for 6 months, beaded ghost earrings. They glow in the dark, and they're little tiny little ghosties.
I saw those on your Instagram.
Yes.
Those were so cute.
Yes. So those went crazy, and everybody wanted them. I was beading for 6 months, and in fact, I just got my beads the other day because I'm adding 2 new colors to that. And this year I'm going to re-release them, but I have to start beading now because I'm going to release them in October.
Yeah.
Yep.
October's coming. Yep.
So I really do have to start now. So it's really weird how things like that can go viral. It's like, so, and nail polish doesn't necessarily do the same thing. So just 2 completely different, paths. And, as an artist, you really do have to realize that when you're marketing yourself online and marketing yourself on social media, that maybe if it's not working, you need to try something else. Like for me, Etsy wasn't working with my beadwork because I was selling, but the fees were just so high. Whereas my nail polishes, those are selling for like $5 to $10 a bottle, minis and full sizes. And the fees really aren't that bad on those individual items. Whereas a $75 like barrette I would get, So I really do just sell on Twitter and Instagram with my beadwork.
Okay.
And I will Venmo and PayPal, and that's the easiest way for that. Whereas this is more like a traditional business model, I guess. Yeah. So they're 2 different things, but the same, similar.
Right. Yeah, kind of a similar idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Neat. Cool.
I have glitter on my face.
I mean,
I'm in my nail polish too. There's glitter everywhere.
Right. Yeah. It's glitter too. It's gonna be everywhere. Yeah.
No, I dropped about $250 of flakies on the floor the other day. Flakies here. On the floor, actually. So these guys, where are you? There you are. So these are flakies, and they like to go poof. And it was full, and I dropped it on the floor, and the lid came off, and I lost about $250.
Ouch.
Right here. Yeah, I cried.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Yeah. it wasn't fun to clean up either.
And then as far as like your creative process goes, and then again, I say it a lot, it's kind of a joke at my day job in these unprecedented times, but
Yes.
how has your creativity or just even sort of any creation, has it been affected at all? Have you found that you're still just business as normal? Obviously, if you sell online primarily.
Yeah. So with my nail polish, it has been business as normal because I rely on that for income, and that is my main source of income. And the process really hasn't been quelled with my nail polish. That RuPaul's Drag Race collection that I just did, it was a 10-piece collection. And so that's 10 colors that I had to sit and spend like hours like formulating, and like, the names, you have to think of that. And so it's just really important that I keep this going, because this is my number one.
Yeah.
Whereas with my beadwork, it really did take a hampering. I had to challenge myself this month to do a beaded item a day, because I didn't bead for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a long time. And so I did start again with like these little cabochons that I showed you back there. Yeah. I did start painting these, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. And really that's kind of what brought me back, is I'm like, let's
Just do something.
yeah, I gotta do something. And so pop sockets, they're easy to make for me, and they're, people like them. And so I'm kind of getting my groove back. It's nice. Yep. But definitely, again, two different things. Like, my mind's just always split because I have to worry about the two different things, but I'm very passionate about both. And so one's not going to take a like back seat necessarily. But yeah, definitely nail polish has to keep going forever.
Yeah. Fun. Share screen. You want to look at some specific things, and we can talk a little bit about them. Specifically, I did mention those ghost earrings, so those were super cute.
That's neat.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So one, just the color that you do in all of your work too has been so, like, it's all rainbow.
Yep. I love the rainbow. I really do. It's one of my favorite colors.
Look at these little ghosties.
The ghosties. This year I'm adding pink glow, and I think it's yellow glow. So that'd be cute.
Yes, those are super cute.
Alicia, you should do them opposite color, and that way they can be like shadow demons.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Okay, special edition. Thanks to you, I will definitely do that. Shadow demon.
Shadow demon.
We have ghost and shadow demons.
And I think I did see you mention that, I don't know if this was this year or last year, that you had gotten into the state fair.
Yeah, I did. I've gotten at the state fair, I believe it's twice now. I entered 2 pieces, not last year, but the year before, and I got, what did I get? Second and third place. And then this last year I entered and I got second in 3 categories. Yeah. So the problem though with the state fair is I've talked to basically the equity and inclusion department, and interestingly enough, the beadwork is judged by non-native people, and therefore they were trying to get a native judge on that judging panel, because I do find it interesting that a lot of the beadwork there is native. It's like half native, half not. But the native pieces, it's kind of weird because they kind of just get pushed to the edge. And there's like a showcase of it, and it's like, this is the native, the native ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a hard line to walk when you're at a place that's not necessarily there for you as a BIPOC person. Like the
Mhm.
state fair isn't necessarily, but I do know that they are trying to fix that, which I would greatly appreciate because there are different cultures that do beadwork that aren't just native.
Yeah.
And but there are, like us indigenous people need to have that representation too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I definitely do enjoy standing near my artwork at the state fair because I like to see what people say about it. Like people are taking pictures of my Pennywise. And like
Yeah.
I made a kid cry. He saw it and he cried. I was really proud of that.
Alicia, I also had children cry in front of my paintings, and it's
Good.
very fulfilling.
Yes, it's very fulfilling. But yeah, so I do like having my beadwork in the state fair because it does open people up more to seeing indigenous beadwork.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Just ask if you can be a judge.
I know, but then I can't enter my work, I don't think.
Mm.
Because then I could just judge it. I'm the winner in all categories.
Right.
You didn't enter that category, but you won anyway. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll see, because I was gonna see this year actually, talk to whoever I talked with last year and see if they actually did include a judge. That would be nice. Hey, there it is. Yeah, those are the works that I won. What did I get? Did I get third place or second place? Third place.
Third.
Yeah, because the year before I got second place.
Mm.
Yep. And
Well,
this
I
year.
took a selfie with your beadwork and sent it to you last
What
year.
is that? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. I had a lot of people taking selfies with my clown one because it was right in the front.
Yeah. It's just so unexpected, I think, to just
Yeah.
have the Pennywise clown. It's just, oh, okay.
A unicorn, a thunderbird, and Pennywise the clown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a little different.
But
Yeah, I
so
like them though.
like representation of you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I do have a lot of pieces that are kind of in limbo right now. I wish I could show you, but they're on display. Actually, at my old college, MCTC, they had an art show, and now they're stuck there because college isn't open.
Right.
But they're safe. They're cool.
And so I mean, as far as education then goes too, I think we've kind of touched on this with a few of the artists that we've talked about. Like, did you go to school for art, or are you an artist, just you fell into it?
So interestingly, of course, with my beading, I started when I was 7, so I didn't go to school for that one.
Yeah.
But I did go to college for art. I actually went to college and I went to MCTC. I got my degree in Native Studies. I have my was that associate's degree, just my regular degree.
Yeah.
I got an AFA in visual arts, and I have my degree in business. So I went there for a long time. So my business degree actually helped me a lot with both of these businesses, but the AFA was not necessarily, it really didn't contribute a lot to nail polish, and it did on a little bit when it comes to my beadwork, but it really did kind of help me branch out and I guess just like explore things. Like I started doing watercolor after that. I started doing, old school photography with a film. So it did open me up to other channels, but it really didn't, I guess, necessarily do anything for my current art. But yeah, so I'm educated. Really, the business degree, I think, is what helped me the most.
Yeah.
For both of them.
And it totally shows with how organized you are with everything.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, my mother would tell you differently, but
here's your actual like website too.
Yeah, so that's my Alicia's Lacquer. I did some Pride stuff.
Yeah, the beadwork website. Yep.
Yep. That's my like kind of like portfolio, I guess. And that bee there and my beaded boo and my Pennywise, I'm actually getting printed stickers, holographic stickers of them. And I'm gonna sell those because why not?
Right.
But also, I think it's a cool way for people to still have a piece of beadwork while not actually having to spend hundreds of dollars to get it.
Right.
That was my final for my AFA program.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, I had a whole speech that went with it. I don't remember. It was it was in Ojibwe,
Oh,
and
okay.
it talked about the piece. Yeah, because I did take Ojibwe language for my native degree.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was my final for it's both painted and beaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was a lot of work.
Nice.
So my paintings, I did start painting in like 2014-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And actually the background for that one, I got yelled at for not doing anything in class. So I just kind of made that. But a lot of the time in class, my teachers kind of let me slide with a lot of stuff because they would have assignments, but they knew that I was doing my beadwork. And they really did encourage me a lot to do my beadwork more than, focusing on assignments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did get a lot of slack because a lot of my teachers were really, I guess not taken aback, but really just, kind of fulfilled by the fact that I was doing beadwork. And so, yeah, I would do a lot of native art and get a lot of like praises, I guess, from my my professors for continuing on with that.
Yeah.
And I do have professors. Jeffrey Chapman, he still talks to me. He teaches at MCTC. He's wonderful. He's always really supportive and has been since I went, to MCTC. He's always been really supportive of me. So it's really nice to have professors and, kind of like professional people that are supportive of my art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my website. I made it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you click on portfolio, I think it will show more pieces.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, like the sugar skull earrings and the sugar skull hair clip is what I entered into the state fair the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And those ones I got second. And yeah, pretty much everything. I think it's interesting that I do bead owls also because owls are actually a really bad sign in the Ojibwe culture. They're a sign of death and they're not very friendly, they're not something. So I did have a lot of elders get kind of upset with me that I was beating owls, but my reasoning for beating owls is because my grandma actually, I was scared of owls, and like up north, like on the reservation, there's owls. And I remember one time going into like her apartment and there was like an owl and you could hear it and you could see it. And I started crying and she told me that owls are good and that owls are watching over us and that's why their eyes are so big. And so I've always liked owls since then. And like I know in my culture it is a sign of, death. But that what my grandma said, stuck with me. So I like owls. I beat owls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually those pieces there on the tree and on the stump, those are pesos, and I beaded those when I went to Mexico. And I was just really inspired. Like all the buildings are really bright colored like that, and inside it's really so they're I believe they're 1 peso or 50 cent. They're 50-cent peso pieces. So 50 cents is kind of useless. It's a useless kind of coin that
Penny.
Yeah, it's worse than a penny. It's less than a penny. Yeah. So I beaded those to kind of give them worth, I guess, because nobody wants them. Like, nobody really uses them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave them worth by making them into some art.
I mean, you're even doing just little guitar picks too.
Yep, guitar picks. Like that's kind of a funny thing in like the native culture. They say that you can bead anything. Like you can bead, like people bead, like they bead around pens, they bead around lighters. Like you can bead anything. And so, yeah, I've taken some non-traditional things to bead around because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like making like pins. I was making pins for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Oh yeah, those sold right away.
Yeah, those are really pretty.
Yeah, I sometimes I do like $30 earring drops, and so I'll just make a bunch of earrings and be like, everything's $30. Go ahead, take a pick.
Yeah.
It gets crazy, but yeah, so earrings like that sell from anywhere from like 40 to like, I don't know, 55, depending on the materials you use. Now we're getting into my paintings.
Yeah.
Some of my paintings that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do enjoy mixing my beadwork with painting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's fun.
Oh, okay. So I see now.
Yep. Yep, so the little dots around it all are paint, acrylic paint.
Yes.
And I bead the centers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, those are my parents' house. My parents' house is like the gallery. If you want to come see my work, come to my parents' house.
Yes.
And then down here, this was for my AFA program. I had to take pictures of my beadwork. That is my regalia set. So I dance both fancy shawl and I dance jingle dress.
Okay.
And I actually made my own jingle dress, and I'm in the process of making myself another fancy shawl. But with the virus, Miss Corona,
right.
It's hard to go to powwows because that's a gathering. There are no powwows. And so I haven't been sewing it. And I taught myself how to sew, and I'm not very good at it. So there's seams coming out, but you know what? It's okay. Yeah, so those are two it's a headband, some handcuffs, like it's a cuff with a bracelet, like a little piece, like a lotus flower for the hand, and then the things in the center are earrings.
Okay.
So Alicia, how long does that take? That's like that set right there.
Yeah, so a regalia set typically is a necklace, a drop necklace, a headband, a pair of earrings, a pair of hair ties. Let me think. Sometimes you do moccasin tops also, which take a really long time. And so a full beaded regalia set, it's anywhere from 5 to 7 pieces, depending on what style you dance. For what I was talking about, that's usually for either jingle dress or fancy shawl. Those can take anywhere from 8 months to a year, because each of the pieces it's really important that when you're beading in the right mindset. I know I mentioned that before, but if you have a death in the family, or you have, something kind of traumatic happen, you can't bead sets like that. You have to make sure that you're beading with good intention. And so sometimes it can take longer. And, the Native community is really understanding of when there is a death in the family and, you can't bead for a bit. It's understandable to not be beading for a while. But yeah, those regalia sets take the longest.
Yeah.
This is when I first started picking beading back up. And so I don't like those. I see so many issues with them.
I'm sure, I think all artists are always their own worst critics.
Yeah.
So you look at something and you're like, I'm terrible. Everything I think is awful. But then I'm looking at it and just being like, these colors are gorgeous. This is so pretty. Look at those feathers.
And you're so stunned. You're like, what's happening? This is like, I can't fathom doing that. Like I feel like my fingers are mittens and they're giant. And like no way I can do this with these things. There's no way.
Yeah, the problem also is your eyes kind of cross after a while when you're doing really intricate work.
Yeah.
And actually the turtle one on the bottom there, on the bottom left, I just dot. I was actually on my way back from a convention in Chicago, and I did all of this except for the background in the car. And so we were in a bumpy car and I was just dot. Yeah. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, I get car sick. I would vomit.
Oh yeah. Oh God, especially with those dots.
Yeah, it would be no fun.
No. But yeah, that's a good collection, a good I guess representation of all the things I do with my painting and the beading. And then you see there my graduation cap. I beaded that when I graduated. Interestingly, when I graduated, I actually graduated with my husband. My husband graduated from nursing school at the same time that I graduated with my degrees. I finished up, and he was the valedictorian, and so he did the speech for the whole class.
Nice.
At the same time, it was really nice. Yep, that's the cap. You can tell I like those colors.
They're good colors.
They are.
Portfolio is just so cohesive.
It really is.
Yeah, color choice for me, it just kind of comes naturally. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like boop, boop, boop.
Maybe it's like that business degree you're talking about. Like maybe we all need to just add that onto my art.
I'm saying though, it does wonders. I still have my books, in fact, because it's so useful. Yeah, actually those earrings that are down, yeah, those ones. That is a regalia set that I'm actually making for somebody really slowly. But those are her earrings. They match her jingle dress. And she sent me a picture of her fabric and I kind of like matched up the colors. And, you know, I came up with that design for her. So far she has those earrings and she has a beaded like, it's a necklace, but it's beaded around a rope and you wrap it and, you know, you keep wrapping it. Those don't take as long, but so she has 2 pieces to her set so far. So yeah, I'm really excited to be beading that for her.
It drew my eye just from the colors and the combination too. Like
yeah, those are the colors of her, like the fabric, the base fabric for her jingle dress.
Yeah.
Some of these earrings are old, some of them are new. I like all types of styles. You can see I do embroidery. You can see I do like the dangle ones, those fringe earrings we call them. Yeah, those they're beaded on the top and then you just kind of dangle the, you know, that part. You dangle that part.
Right there.
So those are different from hoops and those are different from embroidered. So yeah, I do like 3 or 4 different styles of earrings. I love those colors. I actually had somebody look at those and want me to make them again for them. So I'm like, okay.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, those little ghosties.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to get some of those.
Reverse ghosties are coming too.
Reverse, yes.
Yeah.
Shadow
demons. Yeah, I love glow beads. They really do take it up to the next level.
Who aren't familiar with some of your stuff, like can you talk about like kind of the cost of like, I think that we talked about time, but like how much is like, you know, an average pair of earrings, or how much is like a beaded work, or if you were doing something that was specific for like, you know, a jingle dress for someone that, you know, like how do you determine like price in certain aspects of what you're doing, since you are kind of like across the board? Also with your nail polish, I'm also throwing that in.
Okay, yeah, so beadwork first. Interestingly, beadwork materials aren't that expensive. Like I said, that bolt of Pellin that I have, it's 10 yards, I think is a bolt. And that's gonna last me a really long time. I actually got it on sale at Joann's for $53. And so that'll probably last me years, honestly. And that's the backing. That's what I bead on when I'm doing embroidered work. String, for the string I use Nymo thread, Nymo D or Nymo B. The spools for those are like $8 if it's a bigger one. You can get a little tiny spool for like 72 yards for like $1.65. You need needles, you know, needles aren't that expensive either. Like a whole pack of them, you can get like a pack of 20 for like $5. And then the beads themselves You really do want a higher quality bead that is cut the right way. So here in Minneapolis, Northland Visions is where I get a lot of my beads. It's over off Hennepin in Northeast Minneapolis. My sister lives half a block away, and they know her by name because she just waltzes up in there and is like, yep. I need some of this. And yeah, so that's the spot. Shout out Northland Visions. So those beads, like for a tube, like a big tube of them, like $4 for like the higher quality Tohos. Tohos is what they are. Delicas are maybe like $5 or $6 for like a little 10 gram, little like pouch of them. So those are more expensive, but with embroidery beadwork, you use Toho beads. These are Tohos. It's kind of like the universal bead, size 11. So it's not necessarily with beadwork the cost of the materials, it's the time that you spend into it. And so it's really, you're paying yourself for your time. So depending on how long something takes, like a pair of earrings, if you're paying yourself, the right amount, earrings can easily cost upwards, $30, like even $100.
Yeah.
Like for more intricate designs. For hoops, you're paying for like the quality of metal too. You want nicer metal. And then again, the time that you spend in it. So yeah, pricing for beadwork is kind of difficult because you don't want to undersell yourself.
Yep.
And underselling yourself is the number one thing I would say to anybody. Make sure you don't do that, because I had undersold myself for years with both my nail polish and my beadwork, and you don't even want to calculate how much money you kind of could have made if you would have actually paid yourself for the time that you spent working on your piece.
Yeah.
For nail polish, it's a little bit more analytic in the price. The bottles, you buy them in bulk. This one has cuticle out on the bottom of it. Gross, let's not show that one. All right, so this is a bottle. This is how it comes. Then you got your good old mixing balls. Depending on if you're buying bottles by bulk or whatever, a bulk thing of bottles like $300. You can do the math. There's like 500, 600 per. So you really are taking into account not just your materials when it comes to nail polish. You're taking into account the expense of the ingredients that you use. Like this one has unicorn pea in it. It is a special pigment that is very expensive, and yes, it's got a beautiful shine, and so that's expensive. So you're going to price that one higher than, for example, like this is neon pigment. This is just neon pigment and a couple of like shimmer ingredients, and they're not necessarily super expensive, but you're also kind of paying for the expertise when it comes to the nail polish, because sure, you can just go like down to the store and buy whatever.
Yeah.
But you're not going to find the finishes and the types, like you're not going to find this at like Target. This is like, it's gorgeous. I'll tell you that. I don't have too many made because I've actually been like selling, which is good.
Yes.
Like, but you got your glitters. This was, I'm a part of, actually, shout out, because I'm a part of, so this is inspired after Skittles, sour Skittles. It was called Crazy Sour. I'm a part of, where are they? They're in Invergrove Heights, but they're an online marketplace just for indie nail polishes. The first weekend of every month, it's called Polish Pickup. So polishpickup.com is the website. There's a theme. This month's coming theme is weird science. And so hundreds of makers make a nail polish around that theme. So weird science. One of the nail polishes that I just did, it's throwback month. So it's kind of like our break month. So we can take a nail polish that we made anytime. I've been with Polish Pickup since day one, and I've never missed a time. And we've been around since about 2017, maybe 2016. And so it just kind of blew up. But I made one after Charlie the Unicorn, and it's called Charlie. It's still on sale in my shop through the 31st. But so, you kind of just, it's fun. You have a theme.
Yeah.
And everyone makes really gorgeous nail polishes, and it's really cool. So yeah, this was just a couple months ago. This was crazy sour. I hate it. I think it's the ugliest color that it looks like vomit. Why is there rainbow glitters and it's green and it's stupid, but it's sold, so I'm not mad at it.
Right, yes.
It's sold really well. So I can't even be mad.
Yeah.
But my God, is it ugly. Let's see, what's this? Oh, this is like, an old one from, it's got crusty stuff on the side. So it's
nail
old.
polish.
Yeah, it's nail polish. But yeah, I don't have too many to show just because I really do. I pour. So when I get orders, I pour from these bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pour and then I make my labels myself because I'm an economic girl who's not trying to spend $300. I got myself a laser printer. I print them myself. And, I have my labels. So labeling them front, back, putting a mixing bowl in it. Gotta pour it. Find the brush. I don't know where it is because I'm messy. Look, it's over there. Put the brush in. Cap it. Boom.
Yes.
And when I ship, I have to wrap them in like a thick napkin and also, book bag. So nail polish is a lot of work. It's not just like we're having fun mixing. I'm doing everything from start to finish. I'm formulating, I'm shipping, I'm, running out of stuff because I don't remember to order it. But I don't even remember what you asked me in the first place, but we
pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you determine pricing for something?
Okay. So I did that. So this, in conclusion of all of that, is priced pretty much. I price it based on what others in the market are putting theirs on. So you got to take that into account, and you also have to take into account the supplies that you're using. My full sizes are $10, and my minis, because I do have minis. Where you at, mini? Where you at? Oh, there you are. So full size and mini, you price it depending on the ingredients. Or polish pickup, I'll always price it a little higher because there are fees. You have to take into account if you're selling on Etsy and if there's fees there. So you really got to kind of take a look overall of I am printing my own labels. So that's kind of a less expense than if I was getting them printed like I used to. Getting labels printed was very expensive. It was like $200, and I wouldn't even get half of what I could get by just going to online labels and buying a packet and printing it myself here at home.
Yeah.
So when you can cut corners, that's a good idea. Like I get my bubble bags in like $1,000, or $1,000 boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta consider the bulk pricing also of things. You want to get in bulk as much as you can, because you're gonna, in the long run, you're gonna be spending a lot less if you're getting things in bulk. So nail polish business is pretty much all bulk. I don't really I had to buy from Uline the other day to get boxes, and the poor man had to unload. It came in like little spindles of like this much, and I felt really bad because he had to unload like hundreds of little spindles. Yep. But yeah, so I mean, I think I do price my nail polishes pretty fairly because I am buying in bulk.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't, it'd have to be more expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do think about everything when I am pricing my things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, we finished that question. Good job. Good job.
Now we're at the end.
Yeah, we're pretty much right there at 8 o'clock. So.
Oh, I don't have a clock in here, so I don't know what time it is. The sun's going down,
Right.
so I know.
Is there anything you want to add?
Final thought?
Final thoughts with Alicia's Lagger/Wobbly Speeding. All right. So I would just say that, first of all, thank you for, talking with me. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you are an artist and you want to try to do something different, because I know Unicorn P's coming back.
Yes.
So I know that like both of my art forms that I do are very non-traditional. Like I'm not a painter. I mean, I do, but I'm not a painter. I'm not, I'm not a drawer. I'm not something that necessarily you would think is an artist, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you definitely like are like me, just find your niche and just go with it. Because I can't even imagine where I'd be without either of my businesses, without doing either of these things.
Yeah.
So just do it. Don't let anybody tell you no. Support yourself. And yeah, that's it.
Final thing would be, how would you like people to get into contact with you? Is it through Instagram? Is it best to just send you a Facebook message or email?
I don't check those. Don't do that. Emails. I would say Instagram, because I'm actually not really big into social media. I have social media for my businesses.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have to be on social media, I probably wouldn't, but it's really important to connect with people. And so the best way that you can get in contact with me would be Instagram, for sure, because those notifications don't really go away. And on Facebook, you can swipe them away. And emails, you can like, I read it. And so you got to bother me, really.
Yeah.
But Instagram is the best. Robin Speeding and Alicia's Lacquer, both difficult things to spell for, pretty much everybody I meet. But, they're spelled somewhere around here.
Comments? Okay. Maggie left comments to links to your Instagram on the video. So if anyone wants to check it out, they'll be there. Other than that, I think that's it. Goodbye. Those are Danielle's mitten hands.
The puppet with the little eyes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. We're done. Ending.